This was the final journey, the last road many Africans walked before they were taken away from their homeland forever. Today, I follow that same route. Okay guys, now you can see across the coast, this is where the slaves are being moved out at the point of no return. At a place that is an unknown destination, no one knows where they are going to. So this is where the merchants, the route they take them across. So we are actually overlooking the ocean right now. After the slaves were brought out from the prisons and sold to the European traders, they were transported through this route towards the ocean. To understand this journey, I first captured the route from the above using my drone. Then I took a local boat across the river, which is less than 500 meters from the slave prison at Chief Seriki's compound. With the help of the local guide, I started walking through the historic slave route. Every stop along this journey carried a story. Our first stop was the sign showing the route of the journey to the unknown destination. This name alone tells the pain of what happened here. For many enslaved Africans, they did not know where they were going or if they would ever see home again.
When they keep them into the prison, then they will wait till the day that the merchant will come. So when the merchant arrive, we need to open the prison, move them out from the prison down to the slave market. We will soon get there now.
Okay.
So when the slave merchant through with the market at the slave market, they were moving them direct to the slave port where we enter boat.
Okay.
Then from there, we will be moving them here batch by batch.
Okay.
We come here with engine boat, but they come with a paddle boat, canoe. So the canoe cannot move them at the same time. They need to do it batch by batch. Then we assemble them here till when the small boat pack them finish. After that, they need to rearrange them. They were slaves, they cannot walk free. They walk with chain on their body. So the chain have long one and the short one. When they were trying to move them down there, they normally remove the short one from the long one so that it will be easier for them to move them down here. After assemble them here, they also bring the long one along with them. Then we put the short one back to the long one, while the long one made them be in a single file. And during the slave era, nobody is living here then. It's a thick forest where they can go through different wild animals. That means many of them die on this island, while many of them survive the journey down to the point of no return. So some of them die through wild animal, some die through hunger, some die through stress, while some also die through the slave merchant. When they got here, look around, it's not like where they're coming from. So they said they prefer die on this island than taking them out. So by that, they will cause confusion. And the only language they hear then to move ahead is gunshot. So the merchant will bring gun out, start killing out of those slaves. So when they see them falling, then other people will cooperate and start moving down to where they're taking them down to. But remember, you don't know maybe ocean is there or not. They are still moving down to unknown destination. Another thing about them is, when they were taking them down there, both female and male, they walk naked, no clothes, no shoe, and no time to talk to each other. They already padlock their mouth. And the people that they used to take down to this island, most of them are captured from Yoruba land. I mean the Oyo, during the slavery they call it Oyo Empire. So most of them are captured from Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Abeokuta down to this place. During the slave era, they have 3 stopover, and today we are going to see the 3 stopover. Then this is the first place where the journey starts from. When we walk a little bit now, we go to the second one called Spirit Attenuation Well. We have 2 wells in Badagry that so special. When you come to Badagry, you must see the 2 wells. The first one is the one that you saw at the first building. They call it Miracle Well. But during those days, they call it first building well, or they call it missionary well. But about this issue that you heard over there, they said some of the tourists came back and give a testimony about the well that made them call the well Miracle Well till today. Why the second one on this island called spirit attenuation well? The difference between spirit well and the miracle well is a miracle well was done by the missionary, so everybody can drink from the miracle well. Why the spirit well was done by the African, or I will call them chief or the king, those who behind this trade in this slave era, they were not having the spirit well. And spirit well only dug for the slave, not for everybody. So along the way, when they got there, they must drink from the well. So when we got there, I will tell you much about the spirit well. Then after the well, the journey continued down to the last point called point of no return.
Further along the route, we arrived at a mysterious slave spirit attenuation well. According to the local history, enslaved Africans were made to drink from this well before they continued their journey. The belief was that they would forget their memories, their identity, and their connection to home. Whether you see it as a history or tradition, this place represents the psychological suffering people experienced during this period.
So on our way coming down to the point of no return, we are still on the way. So this is second stopover. This place called Spirit Attenuation Well. I told you earlier when they were coming down, they were still walking down to unknown destination. They have not yet at the point of no return. And then all this island then was a thick forest then. So you cannot stay in between and be looking at the right or at the left. Everywhere covered with bush. So they need to manage the single file. So when they got here, they need to stop them here. Then we assemble them again like the first one there. Why open the padlock from their mouth? Then the slave, they will be happy that the slave merchant want to help them. But the way that you are seeing here is an agreement between the white and the black. So the white man called merchant also know the secret behind the well, because they have already instructed him not to drink from this well. So the next thing is to start fetching the water out for them to drink. And when they start drinking it, they start losing their memory. They cannot be able to flash back where they're coming from or where they're going to. So even for them to react anymore, everything will calm. Then after taking the water finished, they will need to repadlock their mouth back while the journey continues down to the point of no return. But remember, they were still walking down to unknown destination. They are not yet at the point of no return. So possible many of them can still die along the way with that, because the chain is so heavy. So many of them will still weak and die. And sometimes if some of them weak and they cannot move again, the merchants cannot leave them like that. You need to bring gun out and kill them. They don't want to leave anyone behind. And when they die, the next thing is to lose the chain from them, because the merchant prefer the chain than the slave. So when they die, the chain is very, very important to them. Back to the well. The well that you are seeing here today is done by the African chief or the king, like what I said earlier. And the purpose of this well is to wipe the slave memory, for them not to remember anything about Africa, because they also believe when they got over there with many years, they will gain their freedom and return back home. And their belief is when they return back home, they will fight those who behind the trade in Africa, most especially in Badagry. And they don't want them to remember anything about them or talk less of coming back home. That is why they call themselves together. What can we do to guide ourselves from these people that we are selling out every day? So the agreement is to dug this well. We have well here. And then after digging the well, they need to sham the well. After shamming the well, they also make some incantation into the well that make the well turn to spirit well. And they said they want to help the merchant. So they instruct the merchant that they heard that those people, when they got to the island, they dragged with them, and by that the merchant used to kill many of them. They should not kill any one of them anymore, but they should just move them down along the way down to the point of no return. When they got to the middle of the road, they will see a well, particular well called Spirit Well. They should stop them there, then allow them to drink from the well. So once they drink it, they will come. But they also instruct the white man not to drink with them. Once he drink the water, he also will lost his memory. So since then, when they got here, the merchant will step aside and allow them to drink from the well. But when they drink it, they lost their memory. But many people ask me a question: if they were the one, they won't drink. Is that true? The slave, they eat once in a day and drink once in a day over there before the merchant arrived. So if they were drinking or eating and the water finished or the food finished, that means they have already eaten for that very day. According to history, they said they work for 18 hours every day in the farm in Badagry before the merchant arrived. So if they were working in the farm, they have just 15 minutes rest. Out of that 18 hours, they have just 15 minutes rest. So out of that 15 minutes, they eat and drink. So if they were eating or drinking and the 15 minutes clock, that means they want to stop everything they were doing, then back to the farm to complete their 18 hours work. So it may be possible, maybe when the merchant arrived, maybe they have never eaten anything that very day. So they move them down to the slave market to negotiate on them. So from the market, they were moving them down to the slave port where we enter boat. So coming down here, and they said they want to drink water, it will be like an opportunity for them. So they think the merchant want to help them, but it's an agreement between the slave merchant and the chief. So once they drink it, then they let the memory, the journey continue, climb to the last point called point of no return.
Finally, I arrived at the point of no return. This was the final place where many enslaved Africans stepped into ships that carried them across the Atlantic. For many, this was the last time they saw Africa. Standing here was a very emotional moment for me. This journey through Badagry reminded me that history is not only about buildings and locations, it is about people. People who lived, suffered, survived, and left stories that must never be forgotten. This marks the end of my Badagry Slave Port journey. I came here as a traveler, but I left with a deeper understanding of history. Badagry is a place of pain, but it is also a place of remembrance. The stories from here must continue to be told so future generations can learn. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe and join me as I continue to explore the hidden stories and amazing places around the world. My name remains Chris. See you guys in my next episode. Bye bye.